My name's John Biethan, and we're back with another episode all about virtual success and what people are doing. And today, of course, we're with Chris Chase from Chris Chase Design, and I'm with Dr. Pasamonte.
That's correct. Thanks, John.
You're welcome. I got that right, huh? So basically, yeah. So Chris, why don't you lead us into the story, because it's really a good one.
Well, obviously, we've done a couple of these interviews, and it's been really fun for me and inspiring for me. And I've noticed a lot of people reaching out, asking me about it and just getting inspired from the story. So we started off with the Cara Dodd story, doing telemedicine, where she was reaching out to her customers to connect with them and do consultations through video. And then we reached out to Jesse with the Greenhouse Group, who was doing the same thing, virtual tours, a lot of video consultations. And Northstate has been doing that with their clients as well and working with us. The thing about Northstate and Chase Design is we go back to the very beginning of creating a brand. So Chandra called me and said, hey, I want to start a company and I need your help with a logo and website and copywriting and an identity and just really building out the brand so they could do their business. And so now, they've got signage and uniforms and a website and all these different things. And we've been helping them a lot lately with email newsletters and blogs and social media graphics. So it's really been neat to see how active they've been during this virus and how they've still been able to help their patients. And I've been inspired by it. I've benefited from it because she's still continuing to call me and want to work with us. So I'm very thankful for that. But I just thought Dr. Pasamonte could tell her story today, maybe how it's been for them and, just kind of walk us through what they've been up to.
That's great. And so if I may say, actually, everything starts from the brand. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
In other words, all the brand development you did just gets replicated through everything you do with them, right?
Yeah, we started off, we talked today earlier on the phone and she was saying, well, we kind of started off small and now she's, kind of moving into other channels. But to me, what they came with from the beginning was a great introductory package of, the brand identity where we did the fonts, the colors, the logo, the different usage of the logo, building that into the website and the different, parts there. So that was an awesome way to start. Some people don't start, even there, but we're now evolving and talking about other things we can do to build the brand. And she's very interested in kind of managing the brand integrity and making sure that everything that she's putting out there feels true to what she wants it to be visually and through also the voice as well. So the messaging is consistent. So that caring goes a long way. And as a design company, you love having a client that cares that much because it allows you to really take things where they need to go and not just get the job done. And so in the long run, you'll have a stronger brand, a better awareness, better engagement, and it's just a more successful way to build an organization. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So let's continue.
Okay. So Chandra, you want to tell us kind of how you've been and what you've been up to?
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us, Chris. So with what you just said about the brand, our brand or our logo or mantra is every movement matters. So we are foot and ankle specialists, and we believe in the little term as far as where we have to keep you comfortable so you can take your walks, you can move, you can run, you can play, and you can do that. But in the bigger picture, and why we contacted Chris, is because I wanted every movement matters to me, is that every small thing that we as a company does, from all our employees to the doctors, we have the potential to affect someone's life who will affect someone else's life, and thus. And if we're doing something positive, then that's what our goal is, in the big picture. So that's why, and of course, you don't want anything cheesy, and that's where I needed Chris's help from the very beginning, is to okay, how can we have this as a reminder to our staff, who then translates to our patients? Because every choice that we make is, how can we make our patients' lives better? How can I make my staff's life better? And that's how, I think we got a quick jump on our telehealth, because when all of this stuff with coronavirus was going on, I was foreseeing that, we're probably, for the safety of what the world in general is trying to do in flattening the curve, we have a lot of people come through the office every day. And so for protection of the community, I thought it would be safer to limit the amount of people that come out, because I believe they trust us as doctors to know what is essential and what is not. And so we were trying to think what are ways that we can still offer them help without keeping them in the midst of a crowd. And that's where we came up with the telehealth. Before it was all of the stimuluses and all of that was going out, we had reached out to Chris, like, okay, how can you help us promote this to let our patients know that we're going to be doing this? So that's kind of where it all stemmed from.
Yeah. So by the way, I want to remind people, if you hear that bell, I'm not sure where that's coming from, but it means that an angel has gotten its wings.
Okay, that's great.
Or my email, Biethan, sorry.
So how have the telemedicine services been going for you guys? Like, what is it like working with the patients? How are they doing with it? I know it's kept the foot traffic down in the hospitals as well. Someone did have a quote unquote thing they thought they needed to go to the doctor for, go to the hospital for, and they can actually be seen by you. It helps out in the medical world as well,
Well, I think it's been great. I think in things like this, when there's a lot of fear out, and fear comes from unknown, right? So with us, our job is to educate ourselves, us as the physicians, to educate ourselves so that we can answer a lot of their questions and give them a connection. I feel like we are a very procedure-based specialty, meaning that a lot of people who come in, they need a shot, they need something to be cut off for, this or that. So we do a lot of hands-on, but as we were, discussing how can we be of service, my thought was that even if we can connect with them, you can see face-to-face, some people just do it over the phone, but even if they can hear, okay, this is what I have, this is what our plan is going to be, that has been a big relief for a lot of people. And, we've taken it a step further where we're mailing them things, so that we have things that are in office that there's simple things that oftentimes you can do for pain or discomfort. And just the fact that what that is, and then we can give them the options of things they either have in the house or things that we can mail them, it carries them through 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it is, until they can get into the office.
What would you tell or advise like anyone who's a consultant or, obviously a lot of times doctors and practices, and I work with a lot of doctors and practices, they have the resources to kind of make moves and be strategic in times, like this that some people may not have. I know a lot of gym owners that are trying to do the virtual gym training and work with the clients one-on-one. They seem like they're struggling a little bit more than some of my medical clients. But what would you tell someone who's trying to reach out to their clientele and offer this type of service? Like, what kind of approach would you take? I know you've done a lot with us, but what advice would you give someone who's kind of overwhelmed and needs to do something?
Well, the first thing I would think is, okay, think of your clientele. What is it that they need? What would I need if I were on that other side? And the first thing is communication as to what you can do. And so they don't always know what they need. And so just the fact that you're able to tell them, the service you can offer and why that's a benefit for them, has nothing really to do with us. It has to do with how can we help you. Then when you release that to your clientele, your patients, the world, whatever, then that other stuff just comes back into you. I think, if that's the way that I approach it anyway, or as far as how I'm trying to see what can I do to help us where we're at now, us meaning everybody.
Yeah, well, I know you have that mentality of trying to help. You're like that with your staff. Even this morning in our meeting, I felt like you were trying to find ways for us to work together, and it just shows that you have a huge heart. I mean, it takes a lot of tenacity to push through this stuff and to carry, as much as a business owner you're carrying, and I totally get it. So it's been scary, but when John was asking me about certain clients that were standing out, they're kind of leaders right now. They're doing their part and making things happen. I mean, you came to the top of the list in my mind. So neat.
And as far as like, if someone were to ask, for me anyway, the way I work, I just, think of, okay, what do they need? Kind of write it down. I look at it, and then taking action. That's always, I think, where a lot of people get stuck. They think it and think it and think it, and then they don't do it.
Yeah.
And just even taking the first step and knowing you're not locked into it. we're going to be doing a soft opening next week, which means that we're not really releasing to everyone that we are open to call in and schedule. But I told our staff, because, you know, some of the staff is nervous. I said, hey, you know, we have to try it first and then we'll adjust if something doesn't work. So, you know, taking the first step is often something, and then not stopping if something doesn't work.
So I know you reached out to us to do some social media graphics talking about the telemedicine page, talking about the coronavirus updates on your website. You've done email newsletters to promote what you guys are trying to do to be helpful. Are you guys doing additional things outside of marketing that's more one-on-one? Are you guys calling your clients, or how are you handling the appointments and the having to reschedule? How are you guys handling that type of management?
Yes, well, so typically our practice is scheduled about 2 months out. So every day we've had to, or, you know, we've gone week by week, and we have had our patients called individually, because we know explaining to them what the situation is, and also why we're doing it. You know, we didn't want them to think we're just closing just to close, but just telling them why we were closing, or to non-emergent patients, and why we were what is emergent, you know, describing to them what that is. And then also why it is a help for them to do telehealth. Because, you know, explaining that if we do telehealth now, that will lessen the load when we do open, because we've taken some of the time consuming things and gotten that out of the way. So having that one-on-one connection, that has been, because there were some that said, no, I don't want to do telehealth. But then when we had our, you know, person who's calling, or front office people who were calling, they explained, well, this is why Dr. Pasamonte wants to see you, or why Dr. Sandu or Dr. Magat or Dr. Brown, why they want to see you. This is, you know, what their thoughts are on that. And a lot of times they would convert to, okay, I'll check in. And then they were happy that they did. Yeah. So again, I think it just comes down to communication.
Yeah. And so do you see yourself in the future then, let's say this all passes and we get down the road 6 months to a year, do you see yourself going to, you have a customer named Brian or a patient named Brian, and you think, okay, we can either have them come in or we can offer them the telemed service at this point, give them that option at a convenience? Are you guys thinking you'll do that?
We were actually looking at telemedicine before all of this started.
Okay.
But it's one of those things, when a crisis or something comes along, it kind of speeds everything up for you. Yeah. So we're actually looking at that for a convenience for patients, because we have patients who come from over an hour away. And sometimes if they're just coming in for a lab result, or for me to, you know, check in for something that I just need to have conversation with, we were looking at that before this actually all started.
Yeah, that's great.
So, yes,
Kara was saying, John, is they never offered that service and they're doing it now. And there's people that live in the country, live an hour away. Like, you know, she's saying that can now call in. They said they have a kid that's not feeling well, but they still need to talk to the doctor. They can call in and have that time with them. So it's an additional service line in a way.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
when it's all over with, it's going to continue for many people. I know for me it is, you know.
Well, you know, and it's the new normal, right? That's what we were talking about earlier this morning, Chris. So I think people need to adjust to that. Us as business owners, we're always looking to see what other service can we offer. And there's still, you know, there's that PTSD that probably will be going around.
Totally.
So you have to be able to service those as well at whatever comfort level they're at.
Although you were getting ready to do telemed, do you find the transition difficult? In other words, for the average office that was considering doing it, was it a difficult transition? And
in what way? What do you mean?
Oh, whether it was a technical challenge or whether just getting used to doing this thing different. Did anybody in your office find it easy, difficult, or?
Well, I guess it depends on which person you're asking. Jessica, Jacqueline, Mary Kate, all of those, you know, who are leading their teams there. I thought it went very smoothly, but I also think that our team is incredible, and they're just, you know, they just troubleshoot and they keep going, and they're awesome. So they made it easy for us.
Nice.
One of the things about Northstate, John, that's always noticeable for me, and there's been several people I've worked with over there, but their culture, they have a very happy culture, and kind of roll up the sleeves and get the job done culture. Chandra, how do you think about that? Do you work on the culture? How do you kind of harvest that within your group as a leader? Like, do you ever think about, okay, I'm going to hire people that kind of fit into the chemistry of this place, or this is how I'm going to, like, how do you lead and kind of gear the culture a little bit within an organization? Because you seem to have pulled it off in my observation, and I've noticed it.
Yeah, thank you. Because it is something we work at, and it is very important to me. That's part of why I started on this whole venture, because I think it's very important. It's where we are all day long. And probably all the staff, especially our hiring staff and managing staff, has heard me say that it is harder to teach attitude than it is skill. So that's the first thing we look for. And we do let them know from the beginning what our philosophy is, what we're expecting as far as, how we treat the patients, how we treat each other. And we do work at it. It's one of the cores that I'm often speaking to with Jessica about, like, we want focus on this, intentional focus on this consistently.
Yeah.
We do that.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. Huge difference. It's just kind of like treat people the way you want to be treated, but really kind of living by that. And in business practice, it can be stressful. You got scheduling, you've got long hours, you got changes. So it's hard to kind of keep that dialogue, but we're the same way here at Chase Design. Characters goes a long way. I
can tell that with you as well. Even things that you put out in your posts and things like that. So I think that stuff matters. It helps all the way around.
Took years for me to get there. I think I initially started off trying to hire the best talent, the best portfolios, just to do great work. And I wasn't mature enough or old enough to understand the character and the similarities that you're looking for with being punctual and good customer service. Without good customer service, we're not going to even be able to do this. So it's just as important as the work. So
I have a question, Dr. Pasamonte. Who inspires you?
Oh, who inspires me?
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say a lot of people, but that's not true. My family, for one. I think I couldn't have started all this without my, starting from the very beginning. My mom and dad, my faith does, and my family, friends, and and God. I really, it's that stuff that keeps me going, I think helps give me my attitude.
Awesome.
That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is awesome.
I'm in the same boat. So her husband is actually my best friend's business partner, and his name's Chad Layla, and I grew up with him, known him since 8th grade. I was like their son. I was there every day hanging out at that house. So we've got some history in that way together, and to be able to work together just, makes it that much better. I've got some
absolutely
really neat relationships like that through people, referring and connecting, and as long as you can do your part of the deal, it works out awesome. I mean, it's just, you've got a lot of respect there and a lot of love.
It's the biggest difference to have a support system around you, believes in what you're doing. And I'm always telling my kids, surround yourself with people who lift you up, and you don't have to waste energy on, accomplishing what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, thank you for your time and for, sharing what you've been up to. I know I've been on the kind of front line, one layer out, but I'm on the front line with your team, working with them. And
we appreciate it. Thank you.
It's been awesome. So I just can't thank you enough for everything.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And John, thank you as well.
You're welcome. Now let's let everybody know how to best get in touch with each other. So Chris?
Yeah. You've heard this before, but my website's chrischasedesign.com. We're a full service branding agency. So whether you need help with a logo, website, naming, copywriting, social media, we do it all, search engine optimization. So we're full service here in Carlsbad, California.
Nice. And my name's John Biethan. You can get a hold of me at johnbiethan.com, but also heardnotseen.us. So that's my podcast website.
All right.
Dr. Pasamonte, it's your turn. You get to end this deal.
Well, it was very nice to meet all of you. And my website is northstatefootanankle.com. And my email is chandra@northstatefootanankle.com if there's any questions that I could answer that you would like to directly contact me for.
That's nice.
Thank you.
Well, thanks again for another really great episode. And I'm looking forward to sharing this one with a lot of people.
Thank you, John. All
Yep,
right.
until next time.
Okay.
All right. Have a good one.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.